All right. Good evening. That was kind of abrupt end to our graphic there. I thought it was going to count us down and kind of fade out, but I guess it's not. I'm trying some things on the restream, but nonetheless, it is Monday night. We are here. Vinny Hardy on that side. I'm your host, Corey Burton, as well. We're going to take you through and navigate you through this wonderful evening in May, on the 23rd of May. I've got 3 more half days with kids, and I've got a summer break after that.
Oh boy!
Not that I'm going to be taking a break, but I won't be doing school until August.
A little bit of a break.
Yeah.
No break at all.
Not really. I got a summer job.
Oh, what? What are you
and
doing?
Then football. Yeah, I got football and then a summer job.
Well,
got to make that cheddar, dude.
Yeah,
got to do it.
You
got to do it. Unless Bleav wants to put the college shows on Sirius XM now too. Because they did with the NFL shows. I don't know if you saw that tweet.
Oh, the tweet? No. Did not.
Yeah, there was a tweet. It said, Bleav has reached an agreement with Sirius XM to house all of the NFL shows on its app, Sirius XM app. So, being a part of the aforementioned Bleav Network, Vinny, we might be privy to such platforms, hopefully in the near future. Maybe that'll be a big contract. Maybe that'll be a big contract.
Making moves.
Definitely. So, Britt, if you're wanting to get on, Sirius XM is in the near future. I hope.
Going back to the intro, though, you said, first of all, with the baseball theme, it threw you a curveball because you thought it was going to end smooth and it ended abruptly.
Yes, it did.
Second of all, you already talked about before we came on the air, I was breathing rhythmically. And if I'd have listened to a few more seconds of that, I was going to be breathing rhythmically again because it was nice and soothing. And I might have been starting the show dozing off because it's very calm and soothing and just put you right to sleep.
It just gets you calm. Here it is again. Hold on.
Hey, man.
Oh, hey. I'm sorry. What's going on?
You out for the night, man.
That's right. Man, I was already tired enough, man. But until we get on Sirius XM, as of right now, we are brought to you by Betonline. That will probably continue to be the case no matter what. But our partners at Betonline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest odds, news, sports developments for the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, fights, and NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all sports wagering needs, including live betting and the fan favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's really easy to get started. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up. Use our promo code Bleav to receive that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline is where the game starts. So, Vinny, got an action-packed show. The SEC baseball tournament field is set. Your 4 buys go as follows: Tennessee in the 1 seed, A&M in the 2 seed, Arkansas in the 3, LSU in the 4. Which leads us to a first-round matchup of Alabama versus Georgia to see who plays Arkansas. You get and Georgia's the 6th seed, Alabama's the 11. Then you get a Florida-South Carolina matchup to see who plays A&M. Then you get Ole Miss and the Vandy Boys to see who plays Tennessee. And then you get Auburn and your Wildcats coming in the 12th spot, cruising into the 12th spot to see who plays LSU. Yes. So those are some pretty intriguing matchups. I think this is going to be one of the more entertaining SEC baseball tournaments that I've seen in recent memory.
Yes. We're, the strength of the West. First of all, Tennessee Got to give them credit, head and shoulders above everybody. But then, look at these seeds. Then A&M was the 2,
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas the 3, LSU the 4. The 5th seed is Auburn. The next East team is you guys as the 6th seed. So the West was strong after Tennessee is West, 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 West. Finally get Georgia back in there for somebody for the East since it's this beast of the East. But
Yeah,
crazy how, Tennessee ran away with it, but how strong the rest of the West was rounding out, the next tier of teams.
exactly.
Crazy. We just happy to be in there. And thank goodness we played some ranked teams because we played non-ranked teams, we lose. We play ranked teams, we won every series. So that's what got Kentucky into the SEC tournament period because they were on the outside looking in for most of the season. Took 2 out of 3 from Auburn, and then Missouri losing. That was able to get their ticket punched to even make it.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, just and even though it's West heavy at the top, I really think these teams are just you watch them play all year long. I mean, Kentucky sitting at the 12th seed is just as dangerous as Tennessee because I think most of these teams are pretty similar. A lot of these teams they hit the ball well, they get runners on base, they force you into your bullpen early. And they can really turn the game around. And I think any one of these 12 teams can do that. But obviously, Tennessee getting the number 1 seed. I think if Tennessee goes down, which we talked about our concerns with their emotional state, if they can hold on, because baseball is such an unemotional game a lot of times. Like if there is a such thing as being too hyped. You have too much juice, and that juice causes your pitchers to be a little wild or causes them to make a mistake here or there. And in college baseball, especially in the SEC this year, you can't make mistakes on the mound. Otherwise, you're going to get hit pretty hard.
Absolutely. And it's just who's going to impose their will on who's going to, chase the starter and get you into your bullpen before you want to get to your bullpen or things like that, or who's going to show up with the bats quiet, or who's going to have that night where they hit a bunch of loud outs, hitting the ball right at guys where, any other time they'd be, finding the gap or getting through. You never know. Hoover's a big, typically a pitcher's park anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's been crushing the ball all year as far as, blasting home runs and things of that nature. Is it going to be burning up hot down there in Hoover, which makes the balls just kind of die out there in the outfield, as we've seen in SEC tournaments past? It's just going to be, like you said, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. And who knows who's going to, be the last team standing when it does settle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there can be it's double elimination. So things are just going to flat get interesting. I mean, this Ole Miss Vandy matchup probably out of the first round might be the most exciting one because, Vandy is the power in college baseball in this conference, the traditional one, at least lately. Ole Miss, we started off the year talking about them being the latest gorilla ball team where they were just there wasn't a single ballpark that could contain their lineup.
Nope.
Obviously, they cooled off a bit, but this is a very, very intriguing 8-9 matchup there. I think Florida's a very pesky team sitting there at the 7 seed. Didn't really hear much about them all year long. They just were kind of the steady Eddie of the field, and South Carolina being who they are, they've been good in the past, and Arkansas has been good in the past, and they keep those traditions alive, and they just play solid baseball. And then you have Alabama, Georgia, which is also an intriguing matchup. I don't know if being without Jamison Williams and John Mechie is going to affect the Alabama baseball team, but we shall see, right?
I mean, they'll factor it in some kind of way. They would have stolen more bases with those two healthy.
I
this.
know. I know. It's just sad, really. I just hate it for them that they're going to lose in the first round now because they don't have Jamison Williams.
They can't double steal. You can't get them both on and do double steals and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
No, you can't.
messed up their whole mojo, man. It's like they're out of sync.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. I like that. So we're looking at my predictions are going to be, Georgia finds a way to get past Alabama. Maybe they in the fourth quarter they hit a few deep, but they're going to be playing Arkansas second round. I'm going to say Florida A&M. I'm going to say Ole Miss beats Vandy, and I'm going to go on a limb and say Kentucky beats Auburn.
They just beat them 2 out of 3, so they know they can.
Yeah.
And, they show up when they're playing ranked teams. They beat the RPI, the RPI number 1, number 5, number 8, number 18. 5 top 20 series wins.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like the Tennessee fans now. All those Tennessee fans that are hoping, embracing for Tennessee to flame out now the postseason's here. I'm fighting that feeling now that Kentucky made it to the tournament, and now are they one and done against Auburn, or are they? We saw it with the Kansas City Royals in 2014. They were the wild card team, like 3 or 4 games above 500, went all the way to the World Series. Those Giants teams with Eli, they're 9-7, go all the way to the Super Bowl, beat my Cowboys who had home field advantage. So once you're in fight for your life mode, maybe you just keep it rolling. Kentucky's been fighting for their life for a while, so maybe they're already in that mode and they can go ahead and beat Auburn and see what happens against LSU. You're at house money at that point. I'm hoping that's what happens instead of just getting there and then just fizzling out after one game.
Yeah, that would be a shame. To end it in 2 straight losses because it's again double elimination. But I don't want to see
first day single, isn't it?
First day is single, then it goes double after that.
Yeah,
but
so you gotta win one to get to double.
That's true.
That's where we're all at.
And you're the nightcap.
9
p.m. Eastern. Kentucky's the nightcap. Georgia kicks things off 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network. I will be definitely having this on the screen at school tomorrow. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
But you never know. Like Georgia went on a run back in 2008 when we weren't necessarily the best team but we just got hot. Then we got hot in regionals. Then we got red hot in super regionals. Kept the momentum going through the College World Series until we ran into that buzzsaw called Fresno State.
Yeah. One of those perennial national powers.
Yeah.
If you're a casual fan and just turn on the TV for the College World Series, you're still familiar with, those guys and Cal State Fullertons and because they're always there.
You're thinking, why? Why are they good? They're just good. Those West Coast teams are just good at baseball.
Every year.
Wichita State's always in there somehow. Then you have like Oregon State, who they live for college baseball out there. So, but it should be interesting. We could jump in and break down all the stats and here's all the matchups. But we're not going to do that.
No.
I don't want to bore you.
Yeah,
I don't want to bore you. But anyway, we are, like I said, we are Beasts of the East. So we got a lot of Beasts of the East type things to talk about. So Georgia's getting facility upgrades in baseball too, by the way. Some more facility upgrades. So that's going to be fun. Because in the SEC, it's all about the facility arm race.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to see renderings of this.
Can't wait to see what?
I can't wait to see the renderings of these new changes. A lot of it's going to be in the interior. Like, they're going to redo their weight room, locker room, player lounge, nutrition center. They're going to build one of those. They're going to move the coach's office from the Steg to Foley Field. for baseball, that kind of stuff. So, so baseball, bright and early tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. for me. It's going to be Georgia versus Alabama.
Y'all been beating them in everything. I mean, you beat them in basketball. One of your only conference win in basketball.
Believe so.
Beat them in football for the title. Mm-hmm. Beat them in basketball. The crowd at the Steg was saying just like football, right? If I'm not correct.
They were.
so of course y'all going to beat them tomorrow. Of course Georgia's going to win.
It is a foregone conclusion. So Jake, if you're listening, sorry, bud, it's just not your year.
I'm sorry, Jake, man, but I did not lie about what happened. I mean, they were saying just like football.
Yeah, they were.
And I didn't mean to bring up that bad memory, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so Georgia wins tomorrow, 8-5.
Yep. So, how about this? Let's switch gears for a minute, because I just saw this. I'm scrolling the Twitter while we're going through this too. I'm just kind of browsing, seeing what's going on. Mm-hmm. You're a basketball guy, right? Is this a bad score? 57-33 at halftime in an NBA game.
Who's up?
Boston? Celtics. Yeah, Boston's up. They're about to tie this series up.
That is.
Yeah.
They
What is it with this matchup? Because I feel like it's very back and forth. I thought coming into it that Miami was going to be. I thought they were going to be runaways in the East. Just seeing how they dominated Atlanta and just kind of how they kind of cruised and the style of play they have. I guess Boston just matches up well with them.
I guess the last game, Miami got out to the big, huge lead, and Boston rallied and cut it to 5 or 6 or 1. Then Miami held on and won. The thing about it, to me, which it looks like Golden State's going to close out the Mavericks in 4 or 5. They're up 3-0, and they're going to be resting. Everybody in this Miami-Boston series is hurt. Jimmy Butler was struggling. Tyler Hero, former Cat, did not play tonight. The end of the game the other day, Tatum for Boston was grabbing his shoulder. They're just beating the crap out of each other. And if Golden State sweeps and just rest and sit and watch Boston and Miami go 6 or 7 in an absolute knockdown dragout, I mean, the Warriors just got to be loving this. Just keep beating each other up. We'll keep resting, and we'll boat race whoever comes out of the East. It's the kind of way it's looking because everybody's limping and just dragging themselves up the court in this Boston-Miami series.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I saw somebody on Twitter said, like the video games, so can you turn the injuries off? You remember you used to do that in Tecmo Bowl? Can we please turn the injuries off? That's how bad it's getting. Everybody's
getting injured. It's going to be war of attrition. Who can finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same with the Dallas series. Of course, Dallas is just getting torched, man.
They're not quite ready for this level of prime time.
I know that this is their wake up call. Like, hey, you thought you were pretty good, and Steph Curry's like, no, you're not. Wiggins is like, no, you're not.
Yes, he's
like, where did he come from?
This is what everybody thought he would be. He was the number 1 overall pick out of Kansas a few years ago. I don't know if he's rejuvenated because Kansas won the championship. His alma mater won the title, and he's like, yeah. And because I think, Steph and Clay are the number 1, 2 options. They're the top dogs. He's just kind of laying low over here doing his thing. No pressure. On a great team. I don't have to be the guy. I feel like just dunking on Luka, if I just want to dunk on a guy here and there and play great defense, and he's just kind of rolling. People thought he was going to do this for years, and now maybe he's a late bloomer. I don't know.
What is his game like? What is like? I guess not being the franchise guy is really kind of caused him. I don't want to say caused him, but really has allowed him to kind of analyze his game and figure out what he's good at, right? He's a slasher, good defender, right? Plays well vertically.
Occasionally, he's somewhat decent shooter. He's probably supposed to be. He's been in the league a while. He was the number 1 pick for Minnesota. He's probably supposed to be what your boy Anthony Edwards is trying to do. That's what Wiggins was a few years ago. Was AE, but it didn't really didn't really pan out. I don't know if he wanted that.
He's AE without the mindset.
Yeah,
I think they're the same player though, right?
Yeah, he just didn't want that weight or that pressure, or just I don't know if he wasn't too big for him. But now he's just kind of, a few years later, I'll just be the fourth option for Golden State, and I'm cool. So,
Yeah. Hey, whatever works for him. I mean, it's good. It's good to see him. I hate seeing these number one overalls and bust, but I think Wiggins is somebody that could have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. My bad. I'm sorry. I hate the Eagles. I'm sorry. They just slipped out. I'm a Cowboy.
Carson Wentz. Oh, oh man, these allergies are killing me. Carson Wentz.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
That outburst. I apologize. If I was in court, I'd be one more outburst. You'd be in contempt, sir.
You're being held in contempt. Oh boy. Yeah. Like Carson Wentz. So, I think Wiggins is somebody that could have benefited from. I know he was super, super talented, but I think mentally he proves that like you could use 2 or 3 years in college. Mm-hmm. Most of these players, outside of the just absolute freak shows, I think you need to stay at least 2 years minimum to be a good, effective, mature, or slightly more mature player.
In the transition, to make that transition, because I'll never forget it.
Because you transition from high school to college, and you transition from college to the NBA, all in a span of 2 years. Whereas, like, I think you need to, obviously make the jump from high school to college, and then, take your freshman year at college, and then take what you need to improve it, and then make the jump if you're ready, or come back for a third year if you're not quite ready. I just think these kids, I just think some of these players see the physical freaks and they see, okay, but really I can do that. I'm just as good as he is. Well, no, you're not. Like mentally, you're not. It's just not the case. Like LeBron didn't need to go to college.
Which is
Kobe didn't need to go to college.
Yeah.
KG didn't need to go to college. But mostly everybody else does.
But it took Kobe a minute. It took him a couple years to become Kobe. It took Kevin Garnett a minute to become Garnett. You had Kobe airballing shots against Utah and they were getting swept. LeBron is the one, which I remember. You saw the hype. You saw it. This the kid. His high school games are on TV. All this kind of stuff. He's the chosen one. I'm like, okay, we'll see. I said, we'll see what he does against grown men. He's got to go straight from dominating high school to playing against Karl Malone. Let's see. And he first game 25, 8-8, and he's done it for 20 years. So that's just remarkable when you really stop and think that he didn't have that adjustment period. He just stepped in and just put up numbers. It wasn't a rough patch. It wasn't. So, I mean, you can be a LeBron guy, you can be a Jordan guy, depending on what age bracket you fall into. A lot of people, But for him to just step in and not miss a beat, and to be as durable and healthy as he's been, he hasn't really had a season-ending injury. He's missed parts of a couple years here and there late. But to be that healthy for that long and do what he's done, it's insane.
Well, let's say Michael Jordan and LeBron James are the same age, or similar age, I should say. Like LeBron is a year younger than I am, graduated a year younger in school than I did. So, like, let's say Michael and I were classmates. Like, do you think Michael comes out of high school in this day and age? Or do you think he still goes to college and develops?
If he'd have been like a senior when you were?
Yeah, in 02.
Ooh.
Let's say he's a senior in high school in 02, hypothetically. Do you think he goes?
Wow.
Because, like, I think he benefited from spending 3 years at North Carolina.
Because he was like, real skinny his freshman year, even though he hit the shot that won the championship. But you still had like James Worthy and Sam Perkins and other Hall of Famers on that team. He was skinny. I mean, the weight training is a little different now, maybe, but I don't know. He might.
I don't think he gets cut as a sophomore from his high school team.
Playing today.
Yeah, in 1999, nobody's cutting him.
Right. That's true. That's true.
He had to get
That's
cut.
true. Uh-huh.
'Cause it's-
Would he maybe stay 2 years instead of 1 in college?
yeah, I think he might. I think he may have been. I think he would have been a one and done. I think he would have gone to college, gotten his year of strength and conditioning, and gone on to the pros. That's what I think would have happened.
We assume he goes to North Carolina still.
Probably.
Because if he's what year were you a senior?
02. That was on the heels of like Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter, Ed Cota,
Yeah.
Shamon Williams teams.
So Dean Smith, is Dean Smith even there?
Not anymore.
Dean's not there. Was it Matt Doherty or Bill Guthridge?
I think it was Guthrie.
Okay. He was.
I think it was Guthrie.
He was just kind of a stopgap till Roy Williams got there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that's a fun hypothetical you done thrown out here.
Yeah.
Mm. And so then, if then he's got so I guess D Wade and Carmelo and LeBron are all a year younger than you.
Yes.
Right? They were on the same draft class.
Well, no. Carmelo is my age because he was my freshman year of college. He was a freshman at Syracuse, and he hit that shot. I remember that. I was in the dorms watching that. So Carmelo and I are the same age.
Carmelo goes a year of college. Jordan, you think he does 1 year of weight training and moves on to the league?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he may. I mean, it wouldn't have shocked me to see him follow Roy Williams to Kansas. That also wouldn't have shocked me. Because Roy was a Dean Smith guy.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true.
So that wouldn't have shocked me. I don't think he would have gone to Duke.
Although might have helped Roy get a title at Kansas. Roy never did win one at Kansas.
No, he didn't win one until he got to
Carolina and won 3. That might have got him over the hump at old.
What if he teamed up with Chris Paul over at Wake Forest?
Oh
man.
Wow. That
would have been interesting.
He'd have punched Chris Paul in the face like he did Steve Kerr. Chris Paul is great, but he's annoying.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I want to punch Chris Paul sometimes. Jeez. That guy just shut down, man.
After a couple of years, he just gets on everybody's nerves. I'm a Rockets fan. Him and Harden, which Harden, he's his own enigma. But they were having issues. There was friction there after a couple of years. Everywhere Chris Paul goes, a couple of years, and it's like, he's great. He's a coach on the floor, but he gets on our nerves, and he just wears you down. He just wears on you.
He just grates on you, and I don't think he ever lets up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's at that point now. This was 2 years in Phoenix,
and when you're not winning, it really gets annoying. Like Jordan was the same way, but like you're winning 6 championships, so like what are you gonna say to Michael?
Yeah. That's just I don't care for the person I work with. Just make it work. Everybody has that in every type of job.
Yes,
you just don't see it every day like you do for 82 games, like with the Wolves. Rodman doing his thing, Jordan, and that was a rock star group, and they just came together on the court and make it work.
He just made it happen. I mean, there was something about him that he just did it.
And Phil just kind of giving everybody books and giving this guy more slack than this guy. Phil just kind of pushing all the right buttons and keeping it all together.
Yeah.
His zen sense of state of mind or whatever he had going on.
Yeah. Now I'm watching Winning Time on HBO. Such a great show. I'm on episode 9. Okay. Such a great show. Adrian Brody plays Pat Riley, which is interesting. Jason Segel plays Paul Westhead, which is also a very interesting casting decision. But I didn't realize that, because I'm too young to really deep dive into that Lakers team. Like just how insignificant for a while that Paul Westhead was with that team, and then all of a sudden just clicked. Like, what made him click?
I don't know, because I was even a little bit young when they first started, and this was before he was the coach before Magic got there, and then like for a year or two, and then Riley comes in.
No, I think it was Jerry West, and then they drafted Magic, and Jerry West resigned, and then Westhead was an assistant. Is how the show plays it out.
Mm. I think Westhead maybe coach for a year.
I think he may have coached that
And,
80 season and then gave way, or coached the next year, and then they didn't win it and gave way to Pat Riley.
yeah, because the rumor of the legend was always that like Magic got Westhead fired.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's accurate or not. Then
which is probably true.
yeah. Then
Yeah.
Pat Riley comes in, and then it's showtime, and then
Yeah.
the rest is history. And speaking of Beast to East, former Wildcat Pat Riley. So
There you go.
Young kids, Kentucky in the '60s, Pat Riley was, he was there doing his thing, and just a legend, man.
Yeah, old Pat Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now he's the president of the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting choice for him to leave LA and go to New York, though.
Yeah, and
that
to play totally different, up and down the court. Which the '90s, I guess the rules, you were fast breaking everybody to death with the Lakers, and then you go to New York and this street ball, Patrick Ewing and Anthony Mason, and if you scored 80 points in a game, you were lucky. It was physical, grinded out,
Just
not fast
destroy
break.
you. Yeah.
72, 68.
Just freaking destroy you. Come down the lane, you're on the ground.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never could beat the Bulls, though. That was doing the crowd for that era concerned.
Well, once the Bulls figured out the formula how to beat the bad boy Pistons, it kind of like translated right over to the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan wasn't scared. Jordan's just like, hey, I'm gonna, hey, you're the bully. I'm gonna talk trash to the bully. And at that point, Jordan had got to that point where he was like, okay, now I'm gonna start winning, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And you mentioned, would he have hit the weights in college and went for in the hypothetical? Would he go play a year of college ball and go to the weight room?
Mm-hmm.
After the Pistons beat him to death for a couple of years, he went straight to the weight room.
I mean, so really, like the 91 Jordan is kind of what you would get as a 19-year-old or 20-year-old.
Yeah. Because instead of being 28, he'd have been in the early 20s with it.
Yeah. So he comes in and probably wins like 6 or 7 in a row.
And as a rookie, he was rookie of the year, averaged I think 28 a game, and that was his lowest point total.
Yeah,
I mean that was the floor.
So he would have been rookie of the year in 2003, because LeBron averaged 25. Who won in 2003? The Spurs.
Let's see. 03. It might have been. Yeah, it's like 99, 03, 05. I think the Spurs did.
Yeah.
Yep.
He probably gets picked by. Jordan's probably not on the Bulls. Jordan's probably a Maverick. Like Mark Cuban comes on the scene and probably picks Jordan. Because Cleveland was going LeBron no matter what.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been fun. Have those two in the same draft class. Then you could really debate it. Who's better.
And if you flip it, if you put LeBron back in the 80s, he would have to adjust because as great as he is,
he would.
He flops a lot now. And to me, that's my only complaint is, dude, you shouldn't. There's no reason for you to.
Yeah.
If he's going against the Oakland,
you're 290 pounds. Like, there's no way.
Yes. So if you're in 1986, LeBron, you can't be playing the way you play now. You're going to have to adjust to playing against. Athleticism is better now than it was then. But the physicality back then, we've seen.
They just physically punished you.
We've seen all the fight. Go to Rex Chapman's Twitter and look at his pinned tweet from the league in the 80s and 90s.
Uh-huh.
And so LeBron's going against, Oakley and Lane Beer and Rick Mahorn and Charles Barkley and Xavier McDaniel. He's going to have to add some bruiser to his game if he's going to make it.
Can you imagine getting hammered by the Davis twins and having Reggie Miller chirping at you at the same time? Can you imagine playing through that? That's stressful. Just throwing it as a hypothetical.
Yeah,
My God,
true. Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's true.
or you have like deadlift shrimp destroying you as you come through the lane, and then Peyton is stripping you, and then he's alley ooping to Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp is breaking the shot clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
That's right. Some athletic freaks back in the day too.
Good God, man.
Speaking
I
of,
can't imagine.
It's another dude that was coming. He was coming to Kentucky. Sean Kemp was coming. Some weirdness happened. I don't know, somebody's necklace got stolen or something. Apparently, Sean Sutton, son of Eddie Sutton, who was the coach then, lost the necklace, and apparently they thought Kemp did it. And anyway, he went on straight to the league. But he was Kemp on those late '80s Kentucky teams when in the pickup games. The Kenny Walkers and the guys that would come back in the summer. Kenny Walker's already in the pros. Kenny Walker won the '89 dunk contest. And he said Kemp was coming in there just skying above me. He said, I'm just watching him go on up above me. And so this the stories from those pictures.
It's ridiculous.
Insane.
I mean, there's a reason why they finally geared up and made a finals run, the Sonics.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lost and forever lost their franchise at that point. At that moment, Oklahoma City was like, "Oh, we're getting an NBA team."
Those green uniforms with the Space Needle, green and yellow, are still.
I know.
Yeah. They
need to give Seattle another franchise.
They just got a hockey team up there. Bring the NBA back. They got the Kraken up there. I guess they got a new arena. Don't bring the Sonics back.
Yeah.
Do like the Browns. Give them all the colors back. Give them all the records, everything that was still all Seattle. Give it back like you did with the Hornets and the Browns. Just bring that back.
Bring it back. Say, all right, New Orleans. Tough luck, man.
Yep.
But we're
just uproot the Pelicans and take them to Seattle,
or just uproot the Thunder, send them back to Seattle, where they belong.
They had their chances to win with KD and Russ and Harden.
They had some pretty good teams in Oklahoma City. Now they suck.
Yep.
Now they suck. So. I didn't think you'd be tuning in to hear Beast of the East talk about the NBA, talk about the Eastern Conference in the NBA.
Be ready for anything, listeners. You never know what you're gonna get.
You got to pivot sometimes, got to pivot. So, just looking at the layout of the NBA and looking at the old school stuff, I think. Can you imagine coming out of LSU with Ben Simmons, what he would have been like in 1995?
Well, he probably would have. That would have been better for him because thanks to Dirk and all these guys and KD, you get all these stretch fours and guys supposed to be offensive guys. He could have just been a defensive guy and not expected to score and been maybe a lot better off if he played in 95.
Also, the first shot he takes, he probably quits.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's true. Garnett's not doing his thing yet. Tim Duncan is not in the league yet. He can just go be I don't know what he would be.
Maybe he gets drafted by the Spurs and becomes a Twin Tower.
Wow.
And then Tim Duncan goes on to Boston.
And Rick Pitino's job is saved.
Yeah, and Larry Bird might not be walking through that door, but Tim Duncan is.
That was the hope. Sure was.
Oh, Rick.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe LeBron gets drafted by the Nets, and Calipari stays.
Wow.
And Tubby Smith goes on to have a Hall of Fame career at Kentucky.
Man.
Can you imagine that?
Man, Tubby, which you win the title in your first year, so it can only go downhill from there.
That's true.
And he was a bounce or two away from a couple more Final Fours. I think his whole tenure at Kentucky is looked at differently if he gets to a couple more Final Fours. He got to a couple more Elite Eights. There was a game against Michigan State where they lost in overtime, and then they lost to Marquette and your boy Tom Crean and D Wade.
Oh God, yes.
D Wade has that triple double and has his coming out party to the world
Mm-hmm.
against Kentucky that day. Keith Bogans is hurt. He's trying to guard him on a sprained ankle. D Wade says, "Hello, y'all. I'm D Wade." If Tubby gets to the Final Four with that squad, his whole tenures look that differently. But
He doesn't end up at Minnesota.
yeah, the Elite Eight is the only round that Kentucky has a losing record in its history. So there's been so many more times they were this close to making it to the Final Four, but that Elite Eight has kind of been a little as much success as Kentucky's had. The Elite Eight has been a little bit of kryptonite. There's been a lot of Elite Eights that they got knocked out in. Just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. So, anything on the anything else you want to talk about? We can end this thing a little early tonight.
Yeah, I'm just gotta give a little shout out to the Kentucky men's tennis team.
Oh, there you go.
Made it to the national championship. They got beat against Virginia, but this was their first time making it to the Final Four. First time making it to the national championship. They beat TCU, who's the number 1 seed. They were an 8 seed. They knocked off Ohio State in another upset. And first time ever in the Final Four. And they was it Ohio State they beat in the Final Four? And then Virginia, beat Virginia and lost to Virginia in the championship. Tennessee made it to the Final Four as well. They lost in the Final Four. Kentucky made it to the championship and got beat. So shout out to Cedric Kaufman, who played tennis for Kentucky. Now he's the coach. But it's a historic season for tennis. And it's look, we talk football, we talk basketball, and everybody else in these other sports is grinding just as hard and don't get as much attention. You know, the non-revenue sports, the spring sports, the baseball, the softball, the tennis, the golf. They work just as hard as, the football team and the basketball team. So a lot of people wanna bash Mitch Barnhart, the AD.
Yeah.
Because of number one, checkerboard uniforms. A lot of people get so ticked off about that. And
y'all stole those from Tennessee.
Exactly. Number two, he's still not sure if he's gonna let alcohol sales happen at football games. So he's getting dragged for that. But all these teams across the board are a lot better than they were before he got there. Volleyball just won a championship. Tennis just played for one. Track is setting records, swimming and diving, all the sports across the board, not just basketball and football every now and then. They're all competitive, and you look at these Directors Cup standings, and Kentucky's top 10 and doing better. So you got to give them credit.
Got to. All right. Before we let you go, Bleav Network tagged me in a photo. Some week 1 notable opening football lines. The Georgia-Oregon game at a neutral site opens up Georgia favored by 16.5. Thoughts on that?
16.5. Where at? What neutral site? Where?
It's in the Benz.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, so neutral in name only.
Yeah.
And this is y'all's guy, Dan Lanning, coming back.
That's right.
He knows you well, but that's not going to help him.
No, probably
Y'all
not.
Are going to cover.
They lose a lot too. So,
Yeah,
I think until now that'll probably come down to about 11.5, probably, if I had to guess, or 10.5. So, but early on, 16.5. Cincinnati, Arkansas. That's an Arkansas home game. Arkansas is favored by 7.5 in that. Notre Dame is 15.5 point underdogs to Ohio State. And FSU coming in as 2.5 point underdogs at a neutral site against LSU. And that neutral site is New Orleans.
Brian Kelly's first game.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the family.
Yes.
I do declare we're not very much favored over Florida State. But man, oh man, I think we're gonna have a great quarterback there. It's gonna be a Bayou Classic to remember.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and what about Saban and Jimbo? I know you and
Oh
Israel already
boy.
talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it on Thursday because it was fresh. What do you think? Like, I thought it was weird that Saban was popping off a little bit. I mean, he's not lying.
Right. I'm I think both of them think they're slick, and neither one of them are. Uh, Saban
Right.
Saban said what everybody's kind of
Thinking.
pretty sure is what's been happening anyway.
Yeah.
Jimbo fires back. He seems like a hothead anyway. He seems like one of those guys that's just, Jimbo's gonna want to fly off the handle type.
Yeah.
And the whole, you know, what I've the balance did things the right way. So I coached with him to learn how not to do it. Why'd you stay 4 years? It took you that long to learn how not to do it from 2000 2004.
Yeah.
And you won a title with the man, and you've been pretty complimentary. There's a video out after Tua and them won that. After Tua and them beat y'all, and Jimbo's back in the tunnel waiting for Saban to come out. It was just a heck of a game. I want to tell him how proud I am. Say congratulations. If you hate the man that much, why are you sticking around to congratulate him when he comes out the locker room? So you kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, that's a new development.
From Saban's standpoint, to me though, too, for him to kind of poke, even though he's saying some true stuff. This man lost not once, but twice to two former assistants for the first time last year.
Yep.
And you got to do something. Is he panicking? He lost to Kirby and he lost to Jimbo. And now is he kind of feeling like, oh, I'm not in control anymore. Is my window closing? And is there chinks in my armor? So I kind of, I was kind of clowning both of them because they both was acting a fool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Jimbo's talking out of both sides of his mouth, and Saban's finally like, well, I'm starting to go downhill now, so here we go.
Mm-hmm. They've been nipping at my heels all these years, and now a couple of them bit me.
They're gaining on me.
Yeah. I gotta do something. I gotta say something. And he's always so he came across. He was kind of whining, like he whined about hurry up offenses. Oh, he was always the one fussing about that because his defense kind of had trouble with that. Every time it was somebody complaining about that, it was Saban. So this kind of struck me as that. Here he is. You lose to this dude, and now you're gonna be the one to kind of say he's buying players, which maybe he is and probably was, but I don't know. But yeah, they dominated the airwaves, and and you watch when they play each other that week leading up to the game. Saban's gonna get mad when everybody asks him about it. Watch him; he'll be pissed off. Oh, you muted, man. Can't hear you. I think you're muted. Can't hear you. Uh-uh. Mm. Ain't got nothing. Lost you, man. don't know what happened. Mm-mm. I don't know what happened to it. Mm-mm. That's lost. Nope.
Well,
Audio. There you are. There you are. There you are.
yeah, I had to turn off my microphone. Let's see if that helps at all. Okay, I'm gonna go back now.
Oh,
Give
I've
me
had
one
that
second.
happen.
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
How about? Can you hear me again?
Yeah. Yep.
Weird, it like shorted out for a second.
I had that happen a couple times. I get
But-
everything
but-
hooked up.
The one viewer came in and was like, "Okay, we just made a bad first impression on somebody."
Uh-oh. Come back in a couple
I
weeks.
promise you.
Give us another
I
chance.
promise you. Well, I guess that'll give us a chance to. That should give us a chance to take off. So we are the Beast of the East podcast on the Bleav Network, y'all's conference network as well, joining forces to give you this. You can catch Vinny on Bleav in Kentucky, and was it Cats Talk Wednesday?
Yep. Yeah.
I made an appearance with. I did a tricontinental show last night.
Mm,
I did a Pittsburgh Steelers show,
okay.
and one host lives in Birmingham, England, and the other host lives in Australia.
Wow.
So we recorded.
And this was for Steelers?
Yeah, they're Steeler fans.
Wow.
It's called the Steeler Syndicate. If you check my Twitter, I've retweeted it. You can see my appearance on there. We chop it up a little bit. And so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Joining on with Britsburg Owen and at Steelers Oz.
Talking black and gold?
Talking to black and gold.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, with some overseas fans.
Mm,
International fans.
man.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Man.
And they said the black and gold was the reason why they picked the Steelers. That
Oh,
was the first thing that attracted them to Pittsburgh.
Oh Lord, bless their hearts. But yes, I mean, I can't knock their fandom. You know,
Nope.
but I just,
They came from truly nothing, so that's impressive in and
Mm.
of itself. So they originally wanted to know about George Pickens, and we didn't talk much about George Pickens. We talked
oh, okay.
more like college football in general.
Mm.
So they were just asking, they were just peppering me with questions. I think I'm gonna go back on with them sometime this summer.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a football 101 type episode.
So they just reached out on Twitter, asked you to be a guest. Just
Yeah, I was
this guy
on
about Georgia. Pickens just became a Steeler. Let's get him on.
I was on Behind the Steel Curtain as well, which is on SB Nation. They wanted me to come
Steeler
on.
love, man.
They picked George Pickens. They wanted to talk to me about it.
I got you. They just look. Steelers took. I wasn't even born, but I hate them because they beat Dallas in those 2 Super Bowls in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even around, but I've seen those clips so many times. It's like I was there. Lynn Swan making those catches and Terry Bradshaw and
Yeah,
ugh.
it happens, right?
Oh, it
So-
does.
What can you do?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So, Vinny, we're going to get out of here. And a quick programming note: we will not be with you next Monday night. We will celebrate Memorial Day holiday, and we'll come back at you the following week, and really kind of give you a bird's eye view of who's still alive in the college baseball postseason, and then we'll also get you ready for the impending college football season.
Yo.
So for Vinny Hardy and Israel Troupe, who is currently moving from Albany to Valdosta, we are Beast of the East, brought to you by Betonline, presented by Betonline.ag. We wish you a very great evening. We hope you have a great week, even better weekend, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Goodbye. Go Dogs.